to WGHC 98.3 FM. All right, Mike, hold on. Your voice, your music, your station, WGHC 98.3 FM.
Hello, I'm Jesse White, Illinois Secretary of State.
This is Danielle Mitchell with Average Black Girl.
Hey, this is Don from Our Voice.
This is Jeff Badu from Badu Tax Services.
My name is Advedina.
My name is Olivier Kamanzi.
This is Chateau.
My name is Emi Adibe.
And you're listening to Progressive Mind.
Progressive Mind.
Progressive Minds with your host, Alinko, on WGHC 98.3.
It's every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. on WGHC 98.3 FM.
This is Sana, host of Progressive Mind. You can also call me Alinko. Join me every Tuesday between 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. We'll be coming your way with topical issues that pertain to our community, issues that relate to you and I. Join the #1 community building show in the entire world as we seek to uplift our community. If you're outside the range, just download the TuneIn app on Google Play Store and search for WGHC. If you're an Apple user, just go to the App Store and download WGHC app. You can also ring 563-999-3221 to listen to us live. Search for Progressive Minds on Facebook, like the page, and turn on your notification. You can also catch us on YouTube by searching for Progressive Minds. Progressive Minds, to whom much is given, much is required.
They surely come
Welcome to the Progressive Mind Show here at WGHC 98.3 FM. Your voice, your music, your station. It is the 15th of January 2019. We have started the year very well. God bless everybody who has encouraged WGHC family and the Progressive Mind Show. We are thankful for all of you who have tuned in already, those that have joined us on Facebook. Please share the feed so your friends and our friends can benefit from tonight's discussion. We are blessed to have on this edition of the Business Promotion Forum 3 wonderful gentlemen representing very, very important and critical organizations that are going to be speaking to us regarding what they do and how their services benefit you, vice versa, and also give us some education on how we can interact with their businesses and other businesses and whatnot. So tonight is going to be very interesting. You can always tune in to 98.3 FM on the northwest side of Chicago. We're the first African Caribbean radio station here in Chicago, and we are predominantly on the northwest side. Very soon, we're going to reach out to the south. We are work in progress. We're only 3 years, and we thank God for the strides that we have made so far. If you are now within the range, TuneIn app is for Android users. Okay, just download the TuneIn app and search for search for WGHC. For iPhone users, download the app as well from the App Store, and you can listen to us live. Alternatively, go on our website, wghcfm.org, or you can call 563-999-3221. If you're enjoying the show or have any comments, you can want to give us some ideas. You can, of course, if you're on Facebook, put down your comments. If not, you can send an email to info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. Before we continue, though, I would want to, of course, we got to take the Captain Mike segment. And so we would, hopefully, he's still on the line with us. Captain Mike, can you hear me? All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, looking at conditions now out of O'Hare, we have strong gusty southwest winds. That's good news. Tomorrow's going to have a high around have some light snow and some mixed precipitation. Lake effect snow a little later. Don't see that too often, but it happens occasionally. Thursday flurries are going to be off and on. We're going to have some accumulation. Heavier snow is going to be to the south of us and south suburbs. Highs going to be around 30 and lows once again in the mid 20s. Friday high around 30, low in the mid 20s. Again, some scattered flurries ending in the evening. Now for the really bad news. Saturday it's going to get really cold. Highs going to be in the mid 20s and low are going to get down to the single digits, and we're going to have strong winds out of the north. Sunday is going to be even worse. It's going to be even colder. High is going to be in the single digits, maybe around 1 degree. Your low is going to be in negative degrees. And have some snow accumulations up to 2 feet of snow. Monday is still going to be cold. High is going to be in the mid teens. Snow is going to return late on Monday. So unless you really like snow and cold, it's going to be bad. Well, then for better news, if you're fans of certain teams, Manchester City 3, Wolverhampton 0, Everton 2, Bournemouth 0, Manchester 1, Nottingham 0, West Ham 1, Arsenal 0, Brighton 0, Burnley 2, Birmingham 1, Huddersfield 0, Cardiff City 0. We had a tie score. Waterford 2, Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 2, Leicester 0, Chelsea 2, and Newcastle 1. For those of you who are big English Premier fans like I am. Now, because we're going to have this big cold outbreak on this coming weekend, I want to return to a topic we talked about before we really want to nail down. It's about hypothermia. So what happens when the body loses more heat than it can produce, and we can get dangerously low body temperatures. It can occur around 95 degrees because the body's normally around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Your body organs don't function normally and can possibly lead to death in a very short amount of time. So look for these symptoms. If you're working with someone outside shoveling snow or hanging out outside waiting for the bus, not only yourself, watch other people. Make sure you don't see any signs of shivering, slurred speech, shallow breathing, any kind of clumsiness that's not normal, a weak pulse, any kind of confusion or loss of consciousness. And these may not even be susceptible among very young children, babies, or the elderly. So there you really want to look for any type of shivering. So if you do see any of these symptoms, make sure you take them to a warm area inside as soon as possible. And if the symptoms seem pretty pronounced, don't hesitate to call 911. Make sure you don't have any jarring movements to upset any of the body organs. And remove any wet clothes and replace them with dry blankets. Now, remember the active cold, which is going to be easy this weekend. COLD. Make sure you cover all of your body extremities, especially your head. O, do not overexert yourself. If you're going to shovel snow, use a snowblower or let somebody else do it. L, dress in layers. Those of us who are from Chicago or colder places, we know about this. We wear a lot of layers. D, stay dry. So you guys stay safe out there, and we're going to talk about this next week. We're going to talk about some more of the English Premier League scores too.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. Before you go, Captain Mike, you were a pilot with United Airlines. Is that correct?
That is true.
Do you know of the gentleman Johnny O'Toole?
Welcome aboard, Mike. Johnny O'Toole here.
he hired you for your first job, you said?
Yeah, so I don't know what that says about him.
No, that's
all right.
No.
I took risk, and you did well. Yeah. You went with United. Look at you now. So I'm in your shoe now, Michael.
I know Johnny very well. So yeah, don't let.
No, I mean during my research, I realized you trained him also. Did you train under him? That's what I figured during my research, and then I realized, oh, Mike Eskew is with WGAC. Oh, so I had to make the connection, and when I told him that, he was so shocked that you have been doing this gig, I mean, you've been doing the weather and stuff with WGAC and all this time, and he had no idea.
Yes, I know you have multiple skills, but I didn't think this was one of them.
Yeah. So guess what? Mike? So he started his own airline company now. Is the first African-owned Ghana airline that is going to be flying straight from Chicago to Ghana. I think in March.
Non-stop, yeah.
Non-stop.
Oh, great. Yeah. I got one for weather and Johnny.
All right, that's beautiful. Hey, Johnny, one of your students is making it great, and of course, thanks. I mean, we're happy for the connection. Sometimes these things work out so perfectly, and so thank you so much. Anyway, Mike, for your contribution to the Progressive Mind Show and to WGAC, and of course, what you do for the community. As always, have a wonderful evening. We will catch you next week, same time.
All right, you guys stay warm.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, so we will go straight to the discussion. This gentleman have been waiting patiently here, and I would jump straight into the background. David Laundy is the chairman and the CEO. He's the chairman of the board and chief executive of Devon Bank. Devon Bank is situated right here in Chicago, on the Devon Street. Is that, yeah, that, and if you live in Chicago, you know what I'm talking about.
It's on Western, right around the corner from there.
Excellent. Now, he has an extensive background, and going through would end our show. So going through everything would, so I would, touch on one or two things, and then we move on to the other gentleman here. He has he's a 50, I'm not going to disclose his age without his permission. So he has worked as a law professor he worked as a law professor and law school administrator. He taught MBA program at DePaul University. He worked as a lawyer practicing in the fields of intellectual property and computer law with a focus on internet law issues. He met with his term limit, stepped down as an elected member of the board of directors of the Community Bankers Association of Illinois. He acted as he acted as a Chicago regional director, and he is the third generation of CBAI board member. I'm sorry, the writing here is not too clear, so please bear with me. David is also the past chairman of the Illinois State Bar Association of the Chicago Bar Association. I'll move to the next page. He has a Bachelor's of Science in Arts and Telecommunications from Purdue University and a Juris Doctorate from the University of Iowa College of Law. He passed both professions or both disciplines with distinction. He has completed a postgraduate diploma program from the Institute of Islamic Bank, all right, and Islamic Banking and Insurance. He's earned the Ethica Institute certificate, recognized as the Islamic Finance Executive designation, and was previously he's also earned the Ethica Institute Advanced Certificate in Islamic Finance. Okay, he's also an executive in finance analysis designation, and the list goes on and on and on. Again, pardon me because I have not been able to critically look at everything in detail because of the writing. So please pardon me, David, and then the followers of David as well. The last thing that I want to mention about him though was that in 2003 he was elected as the chairman of Devon Bank, and in 2010 chairman of I'll take this again. I'm so sorry. David was elected to the board of directors of Devon Bank in March of 2023. He was elected as vice chairman in June of 2010 and became the chairman and CEO in March 2012. Okay, and he serves as the vice chairman. Okay, and so that would be for David Laundy. And then Johnny Otu, who is right to David, he attended the Aerospace Institute in Chicago, where he majored in aeronautical engineering. He founded the Global Ghana Airlines, a wholly owned subsidiary of Sister City International Airlines, and also founded ISO Aeronautics Training Institute, a Part 61 flight school with over 20 years of experience. Actually, he told me 30 years, and someone 30 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's, I got it wrong here from my producer. He has over 30 years of experience and currently serves as both general manager and director of operations with the airline. He operates a flight school as a pilot instructor where he has trained more than 250 pilots. In addition to his roles, Mr. Otu also works as an aviation consultant for the Chicago Public School Program. He also is part of IOPA, Aircraft Owners and Pilot Association, and also, of course, he's the founder of the ISO Aeronautic Institute, as I mentioned earlier. And next, from David's right, is Thomas Johnson. He is the Vice President of Better Business Bureau, BBB. Director of, he's also been a director of, he's also a director of public and board relations for the organization. Previously, he served the city of Chicago for 15 years and the last 8 years as the director of the business development and director of communications for the city treasurer's office. He's worked as a general assignment reporter for NBC5, a news anchor for WMAG News Radio 670 and WLS Radio. He's also a talk show host and producer. He served 7 years as the fill-in traffic in the city of Chicago. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your patience, and welcome to the Progressive Mind Show.
And thanks for having me.
All right, and so apart from all that, all those huge credentials that you have, if you are not, briefly, 30 seconds, if you are not working, how do you ease stress? What do you do for fun? You like to watch sports? You like to go to the bar close to Devon Bank and have a drink after work? David, let's start with you.
Sleep.
Okay. And David has you want to talk about family? You want to talk about family a little bit so people get to know who David is related to in Chicago?
Happily married, 2 kids, live in the north suburbs.
Brilliant. You play sports, love sports?
I like to fence.
Okay.
But I have to lose some of the gross tonnage to get back into shape to do that.
All right, brilliant. Thomas?
So I think probably some time at the gym in the wintertime. Love to ice skate to relieve tension. And then I've been fortunate enough for the last 30 years to live and work downtown. So I walk to work almost every day of my life. So that's actually, no matter how cold it is. Sometimes I chicken out a little bit, but that's a great stress reliever and a mind clear. And so those are a couple of ways.
All right, 2. That's how you get stressed. You get stressed out in the city of Chicago. That's brilliant. Johnny, please.
Yes. For me, I teach Chicago Public School. Boost more science, and that's how I get my fulfillment.
I hear you've been teaching STEM with a CPS for over how many years now?
Over 15 years. Okay. Just STEM alone. Yes.
So you like to teach to relieve stress.
Oh yeah.
To some, that's work.
Oh no, I love teaching.
Okay.
As some say that when you stop teaching, your life changes. I'm one of those. If I stop teaching, I'll be in trouble.
Yeah, I understand that. I taught at Columbia for 14 years, just one night a week, and I absolutely loved it. It was a blast.
Thomas, I think in the future you should take a program. You should do a show here. Your voice, obviously, it tells it all. I mean, the man has been a radio producer. You can tell, and a radio host. When he speaks, you know that okay, that's a radio talk show speaking. Gentlemen, okay, we'll start with Thomas. What is BBB? What do you guys do? I see your signboard. I see your logo on companies and all that. And you want the Better Business Bureau. Okay. If you can take us through your functionality, why you exist in the first place.
Well, BBB is really important, especially in this day and age where it seems like trust has never been more important. BBB evaluates companies for people, for the consumers, and evaluates them and gives them a letter grade, and also has a spot up where you can give reviews. So when a consumer goes to purchase a product or a service, they can literally go to the BBB website and really get a good snapshot of this business and know who they're dealing with, which in the business marketplace has become really, really important.
And what would you say about the statistics? I mean, what kind of the statistics of the kinds of businesses from the different demographics that we have in the city of Chicago?
We see a broad diversity. We have a board of directors that makes up some of the biggest businesses in Chicago and some of the great leaders. And our demographics, we have over 9,000 businesses in the Chicago BBB. We still evaluate all business, but these are actually members of BBB, and they range from small one-person, two-person shops all the way up to giant corporations, so it is the full gamut. It's really the full gamut.
David, we want to know the statistics of credit unions and community banks, and how, if you can tell us what is the statistics of the number of course of the stats on credit unions and small banks in the city of Chicago, if you may.
Well, nationwide, there's a little less than 6,000 credit unions and a little less than 5,000 banks.
Okay.
The Illinois banking market is the most fractionalized in the country. There's the most number of bank charters in Illinois than any other state.
Oh, all right. And would you want to tell us what how your bank is rating among the whole lot? If you don't want to disclose it, that's fine.
We're probably considered a medium-sized community bank.
Okay.
We're about $300 million in assets, not including things like mortgages that are off balance sheet.
Brilliant. Johnny Utu,
Yes, sir.
you started Global Ghana Airlines, which will go into details of your, the oncoming, your next inaugural flight. But let's go a little bit into, so you've been teaching, or you've been in the,
aerospace business?
Aerospace business for how many years?
86.
Okay, 1986.
I went to aerospace. I left aerospace. I went to Orlando, Florida, and did a little study, and then went down to San Francisco, where I was employed by American Airlines. The goal was to become a first officer during the time where three-place airplanes were being faded out, which is now captain and first officer.
What's the first officer?
First officer is what you call a co-pilot.
Okay, yeah. Co-pilot.
The second officer is a flight engineer, called a professional flight engineer, who works the third panel.
Okay.
This in the airplanes such as DC-10, the 747s, the 27s, and Lucky 1011s. But those have pretty much been faded out. So today's airplanes are primarily a captain and a first officer.
Okay. Wow. And in your journey of being in the aerospace business, what would you say, or what are some of the organizations, the airline organizations that you have worked for and done some projects with?
There's a group called OBAB. They are in Detroit, and their goal is to bring in, like Michael asked you, to bring to forefront aviation as the number grows in the bottom. Because in the 60s, the numbers were pretty great. I'll say pretty much about 66,000 individuals in aerospace.
Okay.
And when we say aerospace, it goes beyond those who are pilots and aircraft mechanics. There's medicine in aerospace. Most people don't know. Accounting, business, they're all in there.
Okay.
But with my affiliation with Chicago City Colleges and the public school is to introduce them to these careers that they never heard of.
Okay.
So there's more to aerospace. I'm also a member of the Aircraft and Pilots Association. They actually monitor the safety of smaller airplanes. They're also a representative in Congress.
Okay. So airline owners, do you own an airline?
I'm an airline owner now.
I'm sorry. No, my question, I went to ask, do you own an aircraft?
Yes. I have two small trainers. Those are for beginners. You can't train anybody in a 747. That would never work.
Okay.
So we start them in a small package. But believe it or not, flying a smaller airplane is more challenging than the bigger ones.
Why?
Because the big ones are automated.
Oh, okay.
The small ones, all you have cables and pulleys, and you better get on top of it. Yes.
How challenging was it? How challenging was it for you when you were trying to set up this? Would you say when we spoke, I think you mentioned that you were the first African,
yes,
to have opened an airline, an airline school
in Midwest.
Okay, in the Midwest? How difficult was that for you?
You know, I saw it as an industry, and the challenges within the aerospace community. If you don't know You just don't know.
Okay.
Because aviation is a well-kept secret.
Mm.
It used to be only military. If you are in aviation, assume that you have to go in the military to be in aviation. I broke that barrier.
Mm.
I make it to the public. I go to schools and spoke. I went to city colleges and spoke. And that's where the interest started.
Mm.
And then when they did well enough, I introduced them to other areas in aviation that has those programs. Aviation law is one of them. Lewis University, Missouri, has what they call aeromedicine. What do you think about aeromedicine? Well, what is aeromedicine? How has the aerospace help us?
Okay.
For example, if you have to have a broken leg, and you go to the doctor, chances are you have pains in that leg.
Okay.
Well, human beings walk in 3 dimensions: forward, backwards, and side to side. So in the aeromedicine, they will design what is now called an airbag, that the individual have the airbag around the leg, which means she could go to work the next day.
Okay, the man is a teacher, so if we give him time, he's gonna lecture us. He's gonna lecture us, but no, but
tell you, we all are.
no, but that's brilliant.
Yes.
That we need this type of information. But David, I want to ask what are some of your corporate social responsibilities as a bank in a community such as the one you were situated in?
Well, as a bank, we help people do things that are the most important things in their lives.
Okay, like
saving for college, saving for weddings, buying a first home, starting and growing a business. That's what we do.
Okay.
And the community that our headquarters is in is the most ethnically diverse neighborhood in the country, supposedly.
Yeah.
And it allows
Chicago.
us, specifically Rogers Park. I mean, we have about 100 employees at the bank, and at any point in time, we speak between 25 and 35 languages at the bank. And that has helped us to resettle refugees, help people establish lives, bring family over from the old country. It's really been very rewarding for us.
A follow-up question to that. How would you describe the work environment at Devon Bank?
It's very diverse. It's very accommodating. It's very flexible, and we have to be.
Someone said it's family-oriented too. Like you feel at home, like they treat you like families.
I certainly hope so, because that's our goal.
Thomas, how do someone enroll with the BBB, and what are some of the criteria that you have to meet to be with your organization?
So you would go to bbb.org and you can register. Some of the criteria is how long have you been in business? Are you dealing with your customers in a trustworthy way? Do you have complaints from customers? And one of the most important, are you answering those complaints?
Okay.
And are you answering them in a good way? We try to make sure that businesses all have the proper licensing, depending on what type of business is. And we establish a marketplace of trust. So the moment anybody in BBB doesn't answer a complaint, they're hearing from us because that's part of what it takes to stay in the BBB. If you get a customer complaint, we verify that it's somebody who has done business with you, and but we expect you to answer that in some way, shape, or form. And that I think has helped really set a lot of businesses apart. When you go and anyone can search our databases. They can go to bbb.org and look up almost any company. Even if they're not in BBB, we still rate them and have customer reviews. And if you go that extra step, you really end up usually having a much better customer experience because it's somebody that you can trust and work with.
Would you accept the term police in that, you make sure the companies are treating customers fairly and vice versa?
Yes,
Right.
I agree because I have my experience, and it creates a platform for the customer and the service provider to argue their differences.
Okay.
Because customers don't always tell the truth, and the service provider don't always tell the truth. So
are you talking about personal experience with BBB?
My experience, yes.
Okay.
BBB.
So you've been with them for how many years?
I enrolled in BBB in 94.
94, okay.
Was under the flight school. And I've had disgruntled, in fact, one of my experience was I flew with the gentleman.
Mm.
I would walk on demonstration flight.
Okay. You were training him.
I was training him.
Okay.
And we took the flight and came back, and we landed and said, you know, I didn't like this flight. I didn't do so. I'm not going to pay you. So I left it as is.
Okay.
But I kind of did a research on what other flight schools he's gone to and have done the same thing, and I filed a complaint.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you filed a complaint with BBB.
BBB against the individual.
Okay, so Thomas, if something were a typical case in this scenario, you would follow up with that customer and follow up with him, Johnny, as well. I mean, the complainant and the file.
Yeah, especially for businesses, we make sure that the transaction actually occurred. We made sure that they actually had this, and then we look at both sides of the story. So if you have a couple of customer complaints against your business, we would get in contact with that business and say, hey, you need to answer these complaints. And if they do in a reasonable way, or if we find out there are problems in customers on occasions, the customer's not always right. They are most of the time. But sometimes there are just problems and communication. And so, but we make sure that they did business together. We get both sides of the story, and then we resolve the complaint. And if the business did something bad and doesn't resolve that complaint, it brings down their grade, and we encourage them to answer that complaint, and then their grade will come down accordingly if they don't.
So you would advise customers that if you want to check out a company, the first thing is to go through BBB, just look them up and see if they have good ratings with you.
I can't tell you. The old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, is really important.
Right.
So please check the ratings and check the reviews of these companies, because what inevitably happens a lot, and we do a lot with the Chicago media on people who had really bad customer experiences, and the great majority of the time, these businesses are F-rated.
Right.
If they had gone to BBB and just looked them up, there's no charge for this service, by the way. You go to bbb.org and you enter the name of the company, and you'll find a business profile, and you'll also see some customer reviews in some cases. And most people who have really bad experience could have saved that by just taking 15 seconds and going to our website and looking up this company. We're a not-for-profit. We don't, we are a nonprofit that takes an even platform and gives everybody a chance to explain.
Quickly, if it's a startup, a new company, they've just been in existence for a year or two. I mean, let's say a year, and they don't have any reviews. Of course, they just started. I mean, how do you handle? And if I look up a new company, and of course they pop up or they don't pop up, what would of course as a customer I'll be iffy with that company, right? So with BBB, how would you handle that kind of situation, or what would be your advice if someone finds themselves in that situation?
So it's funny that you asked that, because I was with the CEO of a company today, and a lot of these companies who I've known from before I joined BBB, I asked him, when you were a startup sitting, when there was only two of you, and now there's hundreds of you, why did you join BBB? And they said, because we needed to build some kind of trust and reputation. And so once a company gets to 1 year, they can attain a BBB grade if they don't have any complaints, if they have the proper licensing. And from there, the time in business will help gradually bring up their grade. Okay,
we'll come back to you. But David, I would like us to know, we know the basic services and products that banks and financial institutions sell to customers all the time. But with your peculiar, with your bank, you were unique because you were the only different bank in the world. Tell us some of the products and services that you sell to customers and clients.
Well, as you mentioned, we're a bank, and we do things that banks do.
Okay.
Where we really bring distinction is more creativity and flexibility and community responsiveness.
Okay.
So a lot of the products and services that we've designed have been things that our customers have asked us to do. We're one of the larger financiers of churches, synagogues, and mosques, for instance.
Okay.
And in Deuteronomy, there are things that say you should not deal in interest. and certain religious groups take prohibition on interest very seriously. So we have created non-interest based products to finance things like equipment and building acquisitions. We've worked with community groups who have said, we've got this project and other institutions don't really care, and we need somebody who's going to help us. So we've created things like gap-filling student loan programs and resettlement programs, bringing in refugees at one point. We're currently working on a series of charitable products where if you take your debit card and you swipe it for $2.60 at Starbucks, it actually hits your account for $3. It's intended as a savings product where the extra 40 cents gets shunted aside, but we're using it as a micro contribution product. So if you want to have the WGHC card, you could be the recipient of the 40-cent roundup and use that as a way to raise micro contributions from suitably inclined customers of yours that want to contribute. Those are the kinds of things that we're trying to do that are a bit different and non-commodity that distinguish us from other banks.
That is very unique, and there is no, if for clarity's sake, so you don't charge interest for these religious institutions that come to you for loans.
Well,
to put it in layman's terms, is that what it's?
It is structured to be a non-interest based product.
Okay.
People sometimes get this confused. That doesn't mean we can't profit from it.
Okay.
So it may be a rent-to-own transaction, but you are not renting money, you are renting a property.
Okay.
And at that point, we have to own the property and sell it and rent it to our customers. So it's a distinct structure that's religiously acceptable to them.
Apart from religious bodies, which you mainly focus on, do you work with, of course, startups, not-for-profits?
We do a lot with nonprofits. We don't do as much for startups, simply because if they haven't established themselves fairly well, it's kind of hard for us to lend to them.
You saw his reaction?
Of course. Banking is an exercise in risk management. And if you've got assets, if you've got a history, if you've got cash flow, then you are showing us that you're less risk and that it's manageable. If you come in and say, I've got this great idea, the answer is yes, and the last 20 people that failed at it did too. So we're careful about that.
All right. Okay.
And the reason why I made a gesture is that if banks don't take risk, then how do businesses actually go through the startup and show at the other end to be profitable?
Okay, so that was my co-host right there. Because he did the questioning for me. Thank you so much. Please.
No, that is a very real concern. And a lot of it is, what's your plan? How have you thought about this? Do you have backup plans if things go wrong? Have you lined up resources? Have you lined up partners that can help you? Have you started saving before you started the business so that you can weather the storm if something goes wrong? There is a world of difference between somebody who wants to start a business, who has established themselves, and somebody who just wants to start from the very beginning. And you're right, the people who want to start from the very beginning may have great ideas, they may become very successful, but ultimately, if you come to a bank, we are borrowing money from our customers and we are lending it to other customers. So we have to be good stewards of our depositors' money as well as being lenders. So maybe you need to go to Lending Club first and then come down. Maybe you need to get a partner who's been around and has some equity in their home. No, to be serious about it, not everybody should start a business. And what we can do is we can help people plan. And what you want is not just somebody who's going to give you money, but somebody who's going to help build a network, somebody who can give you advice. And that's where an entity can really add value, whether it's a bank or another lender or a consultant or a partner, any of those people.
It's very good that you mentioned that. You mentioned David. The point that you made regarding not everybody. Business is not for everybody, but yes, but of course, in this wave of, and even the government of the United States, this country is encouraging small businesses. Like it's encouraging people to be entrepreneurs. Actually, it's more profitable for people who want to start business. So there's this wave of I want to do my own thing. Everybody trying to be an entrepreneur, right? So it's very important that you mentioned that it's not for everybody, even though that looks like the norm and everybody's doing it. You don't have to just do it because everybody is. But most important thing is to seek help, right? To plan well and to get the connections to test the waters to see if this venture might be good for you in the first place.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
Please.
Now, back in '98, I was in the dream of starting an airline. And I didn't want to start with anything big. I want to start an airplane called Shift, it carries about 16 people. But I had to study what was the best product. I've just seen the change in Federal Express. I saw the change in UPS. I told Federal Express to start by the United Airlines employee who was using a Cessna 172 to move its cargo because United got out.
He was using what?
A Cessna 172.
What is it?
A four-place airplane.
A
four-place airplane.
Okay.
Four seat airplane.
You know, not all of us are engineers. So break it down small for us. Well, before you continue with your point, it's 41 minutes past 7 p.m. here in the studios of WGHC, and you're still listening to the Progressive Mind Show with your host, Alinko. If you're on Facebook, these are the gentlemen. I know you can't see my face very well, but, hi to everybody. Folks that have joined us on Facebook now, Samla Benjamin says, hey, hello, brother. And Regina Obeng is also here. Ohiniba Kofi, Crystal Okeke. Crystal, God bless you. And Ohiniba Kofi says, Alinko, your volume is too low. Okay. I hope. Yeah. All right. Ohiniba, I hope it's working now. Sorry about that. And then Patience Afonyo is also here. Pakwisi Sam is listening to us. Dr. Caroline J. Anderson says she loved this show. We love you too, Dr. Caroline. It's good to see you. Sierra Miller says, hi, Johnny. Which city colleges have you connected with for your aviation program? Okay, we'll have you answer that.
Kennedy King, and I have Harry Washington.
Okay. And how long have you worked with Kennedy King and Washington?
I was with them for 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. Rebecca Mode is also here, and she says, good show. Thank you so much, Rebecca Mode. Togbi Hodo Dio is also here. My brother, more vim to you, more grace to your elbow. God bless. Johnny Woods, as always, number one fan. Thank you, and God bless you. Sierra Miller says, happy Tuesday. And then Salasi Elliot Amekuji, my own brother, is also here. Here comes a question from Sierra Miller. She says, first question for Thomas. Is BBB responsible for the restaurant ratings in New York City? A few years back, each restaurant was required to post its grade outside of the building so that consumers could have a choice as to whether they wanted to spend their money there.
No, that must have been a different rating system. We do have restaurants in the BBB, and they do get grades, which they're happy to do. A lot of restaurant owners don't like other services because they can get bad reviews for very little reason. But we do rate restaurants, and those ratings are up on bbb.org. But that was not us that had that requirement. It could have been another service or a New York City ordinance. Sometimes cities will actually grade on different health and cleanliness and that type of thing. So I remember hearing about that program, but that was not a Better Business Bureau program.
Okay. Sierra, I hope that answers your question satisfactorily. Just wanted to throw this out there that David, Thomas has to leave us within the next 15 minutes or so due to other business duties. And so we're going to try and get a lot from his firm regarding his organization. But if you want to call in now because he has to leave, it's 773-942-7167. If you have a question for Thomas. If you have a question for Thomas in particular for now, and I actually just have to open it. Thomas first, and then if you want to touch or talk to the gentleman here, please go ahead. 773-942-7167. And if you come on the Facebook page, please remember to share the feed so a lot of us can benefit from the information we're sharing and trying to learn sharing today. So I wanted to ask you, Thomas, if there are statistics regarding Black-owned businesses versus other ethnic groups, if you have that.
We don't break it down like
Okay.
that, but we reach all types of businesses. Everything, we go out on Small Business Saturday. We go out into the neighborhoods, and we'll run across everything from plumbers to bakers to giant car dealerships to major corporations. So it spans a lot. I would say that at least 50% of our businesses are small businesses, probably 1 to 5 people. And so it's really heartening to go out into the neighborhoods and see these different business owners who really make trust and customer ethics really a high priority in their business. There's a study out that was put out by the Center for Mission Driven Leaders, and it was put out by Benedictine, and they have a whole practice out there for people to be more mission driven, business owners, and they found that in the long term, not only is it good business practices, but they've done deep research, and companies who follow mission and trust and values actually end up profiting significantly more over a few year period and in the long term. So it's actually good business from a profitability standpoint as well.
I've always wondered what, how this we have, everybody has credit, right? And this, there are certain behaviors that when you certain things that when you do, it impacts heavily on your credit and all that. What is it for businesses? Is it customer service? Is it the mode of operation? What is it for business?
Customer service has become a really huge differentiator in American business, from what we can tell. From what we see, from what we hear, people want to go and deal with companies that they can trust. They want to deal with banks that they can trust. And Devon Bank is one of our great accredited businesses, as an example. And they want to do business with people that they don't have to worry about going back and trying to resolve some kind of complaint.
Right.
And so businesses have a tendency to really answer BBB complaints because they carry a lot of weight. And so trust, customer service has become hugely important. And I think a lot of great business owners really take their mission serious too, and actually give back and are involved in the community.
Having been with BBB for so many years, have you once in your career with BBB encountered any customer related issue with Sister Act company, Sister Act Airlines, or the ISO? I want to find out if it's ever come across anything regarding your company, because of course you mentioned Devon,
right?
But in your career there, have you encountered any customer issue regarding Sister Act? Wasn't it? I'm just trying to get a name correctly here. It's Sister Act Aviation School.
For me?
No, for I'm sorry. Sister City International Airlines. Yes.
Actually, I don't. Nothing springs to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I'm not jumping yet.
No, I wanted to.
No.
I wanted to be sure. And the training school is also called ISO Aeronautics Training School.
Institute, yes.
Okay, ISO Aeronautics Training Institute. Within your 15 years, in your 80 years, right, of being 15 years or so with the BBB?
Oh, actually, I've only been with BBB for about 2.5
years.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had any complaints with ISO Aeronautics Training Institutes?
Not,
You have become
not
across,
to my knowledge.
but not to your knowledge.
not to my
Okay.
I do
knowledge.
chop chop.
No,
Remember that?
no,
Yeah.
look, I wanted to be fair. He gave props to Devon. That,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
Now, let me give props back.
Okay, go ahead.
For us, we joined BBB, and there's an important reason why, which is anybody can complain about anybody on the internet nowadays.
Mm, okay.
But we can't necessarily respond publicly with somebody's financial details. So if you complain about us on Facebook, we can't say, oh yeah, well, if you could actually keep money in your account, you wouldn't be bouncing checks and then you wouldn't be complaining. Yeah, we can't say that.
Right. Exactly.
But they provide a forum to take disputes where we can hash it out that is not in the public eye and get it resolved fairly. And that's worthwhile for a business when they don't have to air all their dirty laundry or their customers' dirty laundry, as the case may be, in public.
In our case, we are regulated by the FAA, so we watch our back.
I was going to ask you,
Yeah,
so you tell me the government regulations that you fall under, and then David as well.
So for us, as you mentioned, ground training, that's required. The student or individual has to go through ground training.
So the name of the federal regulation that you fall under is what?
Right, it's FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration.
Okay.
That's
okay. Apart from that, is there any other regulatory body?
NTSB.
Okay.
The National Transportation and Safety Board.
Okay.
That's another.
Okay.
And both of them have their rules and regulations that we have to follow. And if we don't follow, your certificate is in jeopardy. It could be cited.
If someone were to go to FAA and look up Sister City International, they'll find it.
School, they'll find it.
They'll
Yes.
find it.
Yes.
And then if they look up the ISO Aeronautics Training Institute, they'll
That's
find
the
it.
same. Yes.
That's the same thing.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Brilliant.
So,
And then your bank is regulated by, of course, the FDIC.
The FDIC, the state of Illinois, a whole alphabet soup of regulators have their fingers in our business.
There are a ton of them, right?
Yes.
Okay. But the major ones, SEC too?
The SEC, if we're selling stock in the bank, for instance,
Okay.
but not the day-to-day operations.
All right. Okay. The phone lines has been open. It's again 773-942-7167. And that was a question that was posed to Thomas. Just want to go back to Facebook to make sure we don't have any other questions. Patience Afonio says that, okay, she's saying hi, hello to the guests. She says, hello, guests. You are all such an inspiration. Keep up the good work. And then Vanden Denzel is also here with us. Okay. Well, we will go back to Thomas before he takes leave of the show here today. It's been great. You provided us with a lot of information and giving us good responses to the questions. But can any organization enroll with BBB? And apart from BBB, what do you have? Let me put it this way: do you have a competitor? I mean, anybody that's doing something that BBB is. I mean, the same thing that you guys are doing.
BBB is very unique in the fact that it's a nonprofit. It's all local. It's actually people on the street. It's actually people processing complaints, going through reviews. So there are other ways that people can post reviews and complaints about the company, but BBB is really unique. Everything we do is verified. We try to provide an even platform to basically get complaints resolved. We really strive after people to get their complaints resolved, and so it's just a really strong bond of trust between customer and business.
That takes us to the next question: how do you get them to resolve? So someone's asking, first of all, how do you resolve the issue with the customer, and then two, how do you maintain or improve? I mean, if I have an issue, somebody reports about my organization, how do I go about resolving that with the customer? And how does that improve my ratings with you? And if there are any monthly fees?
So to be in BBB, one of the stats that I heard today was about 17% of incoming revenues into BBB we have to turn down because somebody tries to get into BBB, then they look in their background, and we literally reject a great deal of businesses There is a fee roughly of about $50 a month for small businesses to be into BBB, but that provides a great deal of benefits to the business owners, as well as gives them a really good background, really good background of trust. We get people to resolve. If you are in BBB, we demand that you answer your complaints. It's part of a member. It's part of being a member of BBB. You can't have unresolved complaints. That actually brings your grade down.
Okay. Well, you of course you're about the time's about up now. Give us your last words. What would you want business owners to know, apart from what we've talked about today? What would you want the business world to know and customers to know about? I mean, regular folks to know about the BBB.
This has been a wild era of internet sites and internet companies and pop-up website this and pop-up company that, and marketplace trust is something. Believe it or not, the people being impacted the most by various scams and bad experiences are millennials now. People might think it's senior citizens. It's actually the youngest generation who has grown up, and all these companies are popping up on the internet, and they never think to check them out. A lot of them are F-rated companies. A lot of them are, not so good. And we just want people to really use BBB. It's a free service. To go and just really do a little due diligence before you do business with this site. And there's a lot of fake internet sites now that will take a good company and just put up a website. So you really have to be careful with shopping online. That's a huge one. Yeah. And our problem is every dollar that's taken away in one of these companies is a dollar that could be spent at a really good business who's really holding community standards and really thinks trust and marketplace ethics are important.
So if I saw something nice on the internet and I want to purchase it, I have to take a pause, go on BBB, look up the organization, and it should give me a fair idea of whether I have to continue with that transaction or not.
Right, and if you don't see this company, or if you don't see any kind of ratings, or you see bad ratings, you know not to do business with them, and really do your due diligence. There are pop-up sites all over the place right now. It's one of our biggest problems. In fact, it's our biggest problem from 2018. It's just risen exponentially, and so. Try to do business with companies that you've researched and are in the neighborhood. If they don't have a physical location, if you can't get back to them, if you have a problem, a lot of these sites won't have any phone numbers, they won't have any addresses. So if you have a bad customer experience, it's really tough to get any kind of response, and often you don't.
Okay, I know you have to leave, but last question though, is it that easy? Is it that easy that all I have to do is just copy or maybe type the name of the company in the search box of BBB website? That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And in the case of websites that you don't know, really take a close look at these websites. Do they have contact information? Is their information filled out? Are there errors on the website, which is usually a good tip-off to the rip-off, so to speak? And if do businesses with companies you can trust. Do business with businesses in your community. It really sets up a much better equal marketplace of trust.
I know I said the last question, but you want to
I want to ask.
Okay, before you ask him, you mentioned the fee for small businesses. How about mid-size and large corporations?
So the scale in Chicago is just it's in the high 600s per year to be a member of BBB, and then it gradually goes up depending by employee size. And then once you get into a little bit higher category, it's a little bit more money.
Okay.
And you can pay for 2 or 3 years, get discounts, that kind of thing. And but it's really a great way for your brand to go out into this marketplace, which is turned pretty wild with the internet, and say, we are a business that has a background. We are a business that you can come to, and if you have a problem with it, we're in BBB, so we will have to answer your complaint.
What drives a company into a higher category? Is it the employees or the company's assets?
Employee size.
Okay, employee size.
It's employee size.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Yes, what I was going to ask is, what were those grandpa business has been around 50 years or more? We think so. ABB doesn't matter, but have to have some accountability. How do you handle that?
So if a lot of these businesses have been in BBB for a lifetime, and they get into exude a marketplace trust factor, and there are benefits for being found. But a lot of businesses simply belong to BBB because they want a fair and even marketplace. Okay. We have people who are in BBB just because they believe in marketplace trust, and they believe and they want to support this network of businesses and people that will regulate that.
And basically, like you said, there's no other large organization that is doing what you were doing.
Not at the level that we do.
Okay.
We mediate situations. We literally have mediators in our office. So if a business and a consumer can't come to agreement, we literally provide mediators for them to do that. So we really take it to the level of saying, here's the customer, here's the business. Let's find some type of solution.
And you're nationwide, of course.
We are nationwide.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay. Thomas Johnson, Director of Vice President of Better Business Bureau. You have been very great and helpful to the station, the show, and to our community. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you the best in your next event. Your next duty. We hope that we can have you here again.
It would be my pleasure.
Absolutely.
It would be my pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much.
The panelists won't be quite as good next time.
Well, the panel will be good. We will take a short musical break. Listeners, we have to take Thomas Johnson has to take leave of us. We will take a short musical break. When we come back, we will continue with the discussion. Johnny Woods, I've seen your question. I will answer it when we come back. Remember, this is the Progressive Mind Show with your host, Alinko. We are on WGAC. We shall be right back.
What a pleasure. Great show. David, pleasure.
Good to see you.
Great to see you. Yeah.
I'm a member, so no worries.
Oh, good. Yeah. Please email me. See you, A little trip to Ghana is not out of the question.
Oh, no, absolutely not. That'll be the next show. I think coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it and then put some ticket on down. Free tickets.
If he's flying, you'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, right.
It'll be a pleasure.
What a great skill set.
Because what you have, I think businesses in third world need to be monitored. Something right.
Yeah, right now we're only in Mexico, Canada, and US. Yeah. Great. And really a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Nico, what a pleasure. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll stay in touch.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, please.
Take care.
Have fun, gentlemen.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll see you.
Well, I'll speak soon. I know.
Okay. Wax.
My undergrad degree is marketing and video production.
Oh, really?
Everything was That was the idea. Spending an average 13 months looking for a great apprenticeship.
I'll do something else.
One of my professors said, you should go to law school. I went there for a year. I hated everyone there. I hated everything else.
I knew that. Let's go. Startup loan, some of the same thing was Harris Bank before BMO. And BMO bought the Harris Bank aircraft, but they would buy engines. So, it's good to buy Biden at this point. Because having the nation without aging, split with life. You can't glide. Yeah, so a whole lot of Biden. It's not what I've done. Venture is to have the aircraft just by itself.
That is often how it's done, and I've never known all the details.
It's the big secret in aviation. Yeah. It's a big secret in aviation. Especially for government. They think, buy an airplane first. I'm still telling them. Don't buy an airplane. Airplanes are evolving every 2 years now. The Chinese are building airplanes. The US is building airplanes. The Italians are doing it. The Russians are building airplanes. Even the Yugoslavians.
What's up? All my fellas, what's up? Yeah, what's up? All the ladies, what's up? What's up? What's up?
So it's clouds, but it's not words you put in the garage.
What's up? What's up? Tell me what's up? You just what's up? All of them what's up? Up to the beat and you know what's up. Like I read, people would like to dance up. Like to turn up. And then I go to people bounce up. You know what's up? You know I'm about to leave.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Yes, the dogs do not. It's tough.
Take a look at me, I do. Me and my people chilling like a beer. Two stuff for scoring me. Them no say blood clot one talk. You don't wanna wear them dirt up on them. Thinking that they're bad, I wanna know.
And I think I'll share the story.
Te quiero, María, María, María. Te quiero, María, María, María. C'est comme ça, c'est comme ça, c'est comme ça. La 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 la, c'est comme ça, c'est comme ça, c'est comme ça. La 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 la. Maria, Maria, there's something about you. Giving me the boom boom side. The yo and the air and the way make me shiver. Make a bad man cry. Ooh, hey, shake your body.
We still have ways to go back. Just, I think, I think it's the discipline.
C'est comme ça, c'est comme ça, c'est comme ça. La 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 la. C'est comme ça, c'est comme ça, c'est comme ça. La 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 la. Te quiero, María, María, María. Te quiero, María, María,
Yeah,
María.
you can scoot a little bit this way. Yeah, because it's not so. Thank you. All right. And then, yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. You got it.
C'est comme ça, la 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 la. C'est comme ça.
Welcome back to the Progressive Mind Show here at WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. We are the first African Caribbean radio station and the only here in the Midwest, located here in Chicago, no size. If you dig in what we're doing and actually want to support us and you have ideas and suggestions on how we can move this forward, we're here for the underserved minority communities. We're here for our people. And so if you have any ideas on how we can move forward in the right directions, please do not hesitate to send an email to info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. Go on our website, WGHCFM, and make your monthly donations to us. You can also subscribe to any show that you are interested in. If you like the Progressive Mind Show and you want to see us do more of what we're doing, please subscribe to that. You can donate to Progressive Minds. The money come to us. We'll give it would of course help us with what we're doing. Also, make sure that you are donating to WGAC. We did equipment. We did a whole bunch of things here to move us in the right direction. So please help this movement. Okay, it's not just a radio station; it's a movement. There are great things coming. All right. If you have heard about Cheryl Underwood and all those great guys, very soon you're gonna be hearing and seeing a lot of collaborations. With these top guns. So please make sure you always tune into WGHC 98.3 FM. If you can get us on a dial, we are available 24/7. We are 24/7 FM station, and you can get us on our apps, which is on Android with the TuneIn app, and for iPhones, of course, in the App Store. Also on our website WGAC FM. But we need your support to keep the lights on and equipment and all the other things that we're doing here. Before we went on the break, before I continue though, this program is partly sponsored by Chateau Hair Products, and we'll take a short break to listen to Chateau Hair Products, and we shall continue with the conversation. Stay tuned. Well, back on the show, and we'll go straight to this gentleman here. Like I said, before we went on break, Johnny Woods asked a question. Johnny Woods, yes, we're talking about the gentleman who is the CEO of and the founder of Global Ghana Airlines, whose inaugural flight is coming off on the 20th March of this year. You based the first part. He, of course, talked about how we started. Now, because it's Johnny Woods, okay, I'll brief you. I'll give you a little background of what we talked about. So he has over 30 years in the aeronautics industry, I'll say the airline industry.
Yes.
Okay, looks like we have a caller on the line. We'll take this call and then I'll continue with Johnny Woods. Hello, caller. Please go ahead. Okay, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
That's Jordan. That's one of my students.
Oh, okay, please go ahead.
I'm just calling to say that I'm congratulating Johnny O'Toole and his achievement with they're doing with the airline, and I am so happy for them.
Oh, did you say you're one of his students?
I used to be one of his students back in the day. Yes, sir.
Oh, brilliant! And what airline are you currently with now, or if you don't mind?
Well, the thing it was, I was with the Chicago Police Department at the time. I'm retired after 27 years.
Oh wow! That's brilliant. Thank you so much for contributing to the show. Thank you so much, and hopefully you would like to check out, take a trip to Ghana, and you can be on his airline. All right, have a wonderful evening, Joseph. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, bye. Okay, before we continue with the discussion, as I wanted to, Johnny Woods, I'll come back to you, but Johnny O'Toole here, the CEO, is offering a free ticket.
Yes.
One free ticket.
One round trip ticket.
Okay, one round trip ticket.
All you have to do is pay taxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All you have to do is So one round to the first. I mean, okay. Joseph missed that. After Joseph's call, the first two callers. Okay, you're gonna get a first. The first two callers. The first one would get a round trip, non-stop from Chicago to Ghana. All right.
Yes.
And then the second one,
50%.
50% off. Okay. Then now mind you,
And taxes.
now mind you, the first trip you eat, the plane ticket is going to be free, of course, but you pay taxes, and then the second caller will get 50% off. So Johnny Woods, Johnny O2 has been in the aero. I'll give you a brief break. He's been in the aerospace industry for about 30 years. He attended the Aerospace Institute in Chicago. He majored in aeronautical engineering. He founded the Global Ghana Airlines. He also, which is a subsidiary of Sister City International Airlines. He also founded ISO Aeronautics Training Institute at Part 61 Fly School.
That's when Michael Askew worked for.
Yes, Michael Askew is. If you are a follower of the Progressive Mind Show, anytime before we start a show, there's a gentleman that comes on to give us the weather, health, and sports updates, which is called the Captain Mike Show. So Captain Mike is a pilot with United Airlines, and coincidentally, he happens to be one of Johnny O'Toole's previous students at ISO Training Institute.
Yes.
Right. And so that's a beautiful thing. The connection that was made today was so beautiful. He has about 30 years, of course, in the industry. He owns he's trained over 250 pilots. And you said you own 2 aircrafts?
2 aircrafts.
Okay. And then also a member of the IOPA, which is Aircraft Owners and Pilot Association. And so that is briefly for his background, for those who missed the show from the beginning. And we're going to talk more about his inaugural flight from Chicago. Please tell us, I know you're working with other airline companies or some companies. I don't know you want to mention them, but please go ahead. If you feel comfortable mentioning those companies, please go ahead. If you don't, just tell us. If you're not, just tell us about the inaugural flight.
Okay, the inaugural flight is scheduled for March the 20th. I would admit that we have tried about 2 times already.
Mm-hmm.
That's to indicate that we are willing to do the flight. We just don't have passengers. It just does not make business sense to fly an empty airplane. It's because customers want to see the airplane, wipe their feet, and say, "Oh, this is real," or "This isn't." It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
It doesn't work like the American. It doesn't work like the United. But what airlines do is to assess the route to be flown and determine whether or not it is profitable. If it's not profitable, airplane would not be designated.
Okay.
Now, since Ghana is our first run from Chicago O'Hare, we have to go through a couple of steps. First, the airplane has to be upgraded based on the requirements set by the FAA. The FAA is telling us that since this route have never been flown, the airplanes that have not been built for it, we have to take an existing airplane, do the modification, send it for inspection, pass, then we can put on a route. Okay. And the reason is, earlier, those airlines that were flying nonstop to Ghana only had one emergency stop.
Okay.
Having had problems on that one emergency stop, for us, the Federal Aviation is telling us we have to have 3 emergency stops, plus 3 hours of extra fuel in case the flight cannot be continued.
Okay.
We meet those requirements.
Okay.
And because we met the requirement, we're ready to go. But we need souls on board.
Okay.
And if you don't buy a ticket, you're not going anywhere.
All right. Let me ask you this question.
Small detail there, yes.
There's an important question here. How can you assure people that their plane will be ready for flight on the day of? And how and where can they get these tickets?
Okay, the airplane is ready.
The plane is ready?
It is ready.
Okay.
You've gone through inspection already.
Actually, you showed me the plane. And
yes.
It's the name of the plane is
it's Boeing 767-200 ER.
And the ER means extended range.
Okay,
so the
300 extended range.
Okay,
yes.
Boeing 767 300 ER. You can look up that plane right now, and that's a plane that's available for
us,
for customers to fly to Ghana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The carriers have done a modification, which will be first class. But we'll be here to accommodate the 3-hour fuel needed. So our first class will be business class.
Okay.
Minimize weight, but increases the passenger seats.
Okay.
Economy 1, economy 2 is just one economy to get everybody on board and also meet the requirements set for by the FAA.
Are you working with any travel agencies at the moment?
We may touch with Jocelyn Travel Agency and also World Express, but I need more travel agents.
Okay.
Since we are not in what is called the GDS system, we are direct ticket purchase venue. But once we go through GDS, you can buy a ticket just about anywhere.
Okay.
And get your tickets.
Okay. And how is your tickets prices compared to other airlines?
That's a good question. And we had last year we had a discussion to level up prices. This is what I mean by level up prices. We know that most, other than the American, come to America to work, save money, put their kids through school, or build or buy houses. That's the main objective.
Right.
So we consider that and decide, okay, instead of doing either the weekly price adjustment or the monthly price adjustment, we'll do it 4 times a year.
Okay.
The winter, the spring, the summer, the autumn, and then back to winter.
Okay.
So that's what we do. So we only have 2 sets of prices.
Okay.
Well, will the customer like it? No. And I'll give you an example. Right now, our tickets are a little 1,500 average.
Okay.
Well, our competitors are asking for 900. But guess what? The 900 won't be 900 come winter.
Okay.
That'll be the peak price. We won't raise our prices. They will raise our prices.
Okay.
So either you get it now and fly later, or wait later and pay more.
Okay. So in essence, you are. I can compare you to something like what Uber is doing, right?
Okay.
Uber doesn't own the cars that people drive,
Yes.
but he facilitates. It's like the platform.
Absolutely.
So what you're doing is your company is facilitating you. The another airline, another company is providing the plane.
Yes.
And then all you're doing is making sure that because Chicago has never had it. The Ghanaian community has never had any flight leaving Chicago directly, non-stop.
Absolutely
to Chicago. Recently we had Ethiopia Airlines.
Yes.
The Ethiopians have started and they are flying directly
but
to
they're going east.
Or they're going east.
Addis Ababa.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yes.
they're going to Ethiopia.
Yes.
And so if the Ethiopians have started it, why can the Ghanaians, why can't we do it? It's here. It's here. All you got to do is, now let's talk about how some of the services on board, are they going to be providing local wachi, jollof, the local food, or is it going to be continental dishes?
Well, our goal is to provide jobs in either end. Provide jobs in the U.S. and provide jobs in Ghana. In fact, we talked about having to have the Ghanaian dish in the U.S. Well, taste test tells you that it will never be authentic when it's done in America, unless you want to add cheese to it. So that won't work. So we'll serve the American food to provide jobs on our way to Ghana.
Okay.
And then from Ghana, we'll serve the Ghanaian food coming into the U.S. by providing jobs over there.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So would the crew be, would it be mixed, or the company that's providing the plane are going to provide the crew as well?
That's very good. Yes. The aircraft comes with crew.
Okay.
For this, because our contract is just 1 year. And it's during this 1 year, not only are they operating the airplane on our behalf, they also are mentor. And the goal is, since this route have never been flown before, they will take us through the process and having have so much years than us, and work us through the regulatory requirement and build us up.
Right.
Now, in the first 6 months, we'll start bringing our own crew to be mentored by them on board and on ground, more like apprenticeship.
Right.
So when we go through the whole year, we'll be up for our own certification.
Right.
We'll be up with our own crew.
Okay.
There we go. And that's where what we'll call the diversity comes in.
No, that's beautiful.
We'll have the American crew and then the African crew or Ghanaian crew working hand in hand.
The number is 773-942-7167. The first inaugural flight for Global Ghana Airlines is coming up on the 20th of March. All right. This is a great thing that is coming to the Ghanaian community. It's ours. Big. It's here. Like I told you, like I said earlier, the Ethiopians have started it. They are flying to Addis Ababa currently. All right. And guess who supported it? The Ethiopian community. And so Johnny O'Toole is bringing this to us. What we've been looking for all these years has now come. And so the 20th of March is an inaugural flight. If you have plans of going to Ghana or going to West Africa, but you want to go through Ghana first, here is the flight for you. And we'll ask him ticketing, where people can get tickets and all that stuff in a little bit. But I want to go to David, who has been, we left David out of the conversation for a little bit. Pardon us, David.
Inaugural flight to Ghana is more interesting than another mortgage.
David, what would you say is your leadership style?
My leadership style. I consider myself a remover of obstacles.
Okay.
Hire good people and get out of their way. Let them do what you hired them to do.
Okay.
Management, yeah.
And what's your hardest day at work? I mean, what challenges you most with your bank?
The hardest day is the one that's not planned.
Okay.
You know, it's when people come in with the flaming pile of debris and asking me to put out the flames. Yeah, those are the hardest days.
Right.
Yeah, the days that I like are ones that are challenging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I can talk to a customer who says, I'm on this side and I need to get to that side, find me a path between one side to the other side, and I can figure out how to solve their problems, that's what gets me excited.
Okay.
You know, the challenges are never the same twice.
And as a bank, you know, what would you say are your challenges currently, if there are any?
Well, I try to stay out of workouts because there are people who have a better temperament than I do. I tell people, yeah, banking is simple. We lend you money, you pay it back.
Right.
You know, the first part we've got pretty well.
Right.
You know, as long as the second part works, we're in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much you would say as a bank. And so that goes for the economy. I mean, the economy is good, and if you know, there's no you are not going through any challenges as a bank right now. So that seemed to be good, because I was going to find out if, as an institution, if you were having any major challenges. You know,
No, the real challenges are banking is very heavily regulated, and we spend an awful lot of time just making sure we have the compliance aspects down correct.
There you go.
And something as simple as, with the government shutdown, if you are a business and you want to open a new checking account and it's a new business and you can't get a tax ID number because the IRS is shut down, then we can't open an account because we have to know our customers, and part of that is knowing that you're documented properly.
Right.
So now we can't do business because the government's shut down.
Right.
You know, fortunately, it's only a little piece,
Okay.
but those sorts of things happen.
What other opportunities do you see with, of course, having been the CEO of this bank for many years? What would you say are the opportunities within the community you serve, you operate in?
Well, there's a lot of consolidation in the Chicago banking market. There are a lot of banks that are merging, that are being bought out, and larger banks generally are not as responsive to their customers. And we thrive on that. You know, there are a lot of banks that don't want small accounts, and we thrive on the cast-offs from the too big to fail banks.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So you of course you are not. So you would say you don't see yourself as not too big to fail. So you try to do your due diligence by making sure you meet all compliance and doing right by customers.
Well, certainly that, but I mean, it's as simple as, if you want to come and talk to me, you can.
Okay.
Go talk to Jamie Dimond.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
you can't do that.
That's a culture.
It's a culture that we can be responsive to our customers. You can talk to somebody twice instead of just getting a randomly assigned person from the call center. And, you know, we can get to know our customers. And as we discussed earlier, if you're trying to build a business, you want an advisor. You want somebody who can understand what your needs are and how they change as you grow, and be there along the way. And we at least have a better chance of doing that than other banks. And it's not just us, in fairness. Any of the community banks, as opposed to the big mega banks, you can get more of that service.
I would come back to you, and then so you can advise young fellows who would like to purchase home for the first time. But Johnny, if people want to get tickets at the moment, where should they go? How can they get it? And how is reservation done? Overall, if you can enlighten us on that.
Okay, our reservation is done to a reservation system called Emilores.
Emilores. Okay.
And that's on our website. So if they have to go to the website www.flygga.com, the booking engine should open up. Okay. They'll need a credit card if they want to do it online. They also need a passport. And I think one of the challenges that most people are having is that since this route has not been flown, TSA is not giving us a pass for anything.
Okay.
Because we don't have individuals' names and information in our database.
Okay.
It's not there. The information has to be there for TSA to access that database should something go wrong or need to mitigate situation.
Okay.
And here's one of them. If the person is to be denied flight because he or she is on no flight list, we don't know.
Okay.
On our booking engine, you say, okay, you've been denied. What did we do? We have to mitigate the situation. So if the person does not do the booking with the right information, well, there is a fine. And the fine goes from $500 to $100,000.
Okay.
You got to help us.
Okay.
You got to put the right information in there. So if something were to go wrong, most of which will correct a check-in. That's where you get confirmation.
Okay.
The actual check-in will make sure you have the right information before you get on board the aircraft.
Someone is asking, are you a well-kept secret as an airline? As all airlines.
Aviation?
By aviation standards.
Aviation is a well-kept secret because I have my own policy and procedures.
Okay.
The other airline have something different.
Okay.
The same regulation, but everybody have their own secrets.
All right.
And it's that secret that protects that airline, and you need to protect it.
Okay.
Because all it takes for the airline to violate one thing, and it snowballs.
Okay.
We make sure our employees are very well informed.
Okay.
That's why it's an open forum for employees, not those from outside.
And of course, insurance and all that.
Oh yeah, those are a big factor.
Yeah,
huge factor. And that's what we've done. And with our partner, we do our work up to the airplane. And then
you want to mention your partner's name?
No.
Okay. Okay.
And then the partner takes over because the insurance differs. What I pay, it's all on the ground base.
Okay.
What they pay is in the actual flight operation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you've done work with some very huge airline companies and manufacturers of airplanes.
Yes.
But you were also skeptical. You said you didn't want to mention the name.
No.
Okay.
Because the airplanes for this very route has not been built. It's not yet been built.
It's not yet been built?
It's not been built, not from this route. Every airline have a specification for a given route.
Oh.
So what we've done is take an existing airplane, determine what the FAA tells us to do along this new route, and make these changes to meet the requirement for it to be approved.
Oh.
Unless it's approved by the FAA, we're not going anywhere. And we've done it twice, and twice it's been approved.
So you've been approved by the FAA
twice.
That this new route that you were going to take, your airplane
will cover the route.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
And you don't want to tell the competitors.
No.
You pointed all the little pieces up.
Wow.
That's the best secret about airlines.
Wow. Okay. Look, this is very exciting. This is our own who has finally tried to solve one of the problems or one of the issues. I'll say one of the things that we have been asking for, because if you want to fly to Ghana,
if I may add, that our flights are not only for pleasure, it's also for business.
Okay.
I know there are those who want to go in, get a business done, and come back maybe the next day.
Okay.
And stay in longer. And then those who are pleasure customers who wants to go and stay for some time. So, the schedule, the original schedule, is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from Chicago here.
Okay.
Coming back from Accra is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It's an overnight, 10 hours. So you leave evening, take a nap, wake up for breakfast, and you
are in Accra, you're in Ghana. Oh, that's beautiful. Look, of course, for now, when we're going to Ghana, you go through Amsterdam, or you go to Belgium, maybe the UK or something, and then you have a whole 8 hours layover.
Yes.
Guys, we only sometimes, look, on the average, we have 10, 12 days. The most you do back home, if you have the chance, or if you are privileged, the most you get is a month, okay, when you're going home. But let's say on the average, 2 weeks. You spend 3 days in going home.
Yes.
Okay. If you calculate, it's about 2.5 days, on the flight.
Yes.
Go just to go home.
Yes.
And you spend another 2 days or 2.5 days. So out of the 14 days, you probably spend 4 days out of the 14 days just traveling.
Counting on, yes.
But in this case, 10 hours.
10 hours.
It's like me driving from here to Pennsylvania.
We take it 7 p.m. Chicago time, and you're in Accra 10:58 in the morning.
All right, guys. We gotta take this one opportunity. We gotta take advantage of this one. It's 773-942-7167. This is our own. We gotta know that this is real. 773-942-7167. If you have a question for Johnny or David with Devon Bank, please go ahead and ask now. Again, this is for folks who want to travel, and it's not only for Ghanaians, right?
No.
Anybody that's planning on going to Ghana.
Yes. Because we're trying to turn Ghana into a hub.
Okay.
So from Ghana, you could fly anywhere else. But that hub area in Ghana, we're still working on that. But in the U.S., we're good because everything's now reaching from here.
There was also an issue in the past that, the Ghana aviation was not giving you permission to fly.
Yes.
I mean, can you expand on that?
That's a very good question.
And I need to please come close to that.
The discrepancy between the Ghana civil aviation and United States are totally different.
Okay.
United States is what we call Category 1. Now, the Category 1 is not in terms of the security of the nation. The Category 1 is in terms of the safety standard applied to the aircraft and operation.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the country.
All right.
It doesn't mean it's going to bring some knucklehead from somewhere to act different. Totally different. Now, today, Ghana is at the bottom of that Category 2.
Okay.
So which means you can now bring a certificate to operate as an airline in the United States. They won't accept that.
From Ghana.
From Ghana.
Okay.
That's out.
Okay.
And the worst part is even Ghana cannot issue certificates that could be applied anywhere outside Ghana.
So in that sense, you can fly a plane from Ghana into the U.S.
Yes, with a Ghana certificate.
With a Ghana certificate, Ghana Aviation Authority certificate. It won't work.
No.
But if you have the U.S. certificate,
absolutely,
you can fly. It supersedes that.
Supersedes what Ghana has.
Okay.
Yeah. And Ghana is in one of the countries in West Africa. Togo, you can get Category 1. Nigeria, Category 1. I mean, except Ghana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's questioning.
Okay.
Why has Ghana left itself to snowball and to make matters with the corruption that goes along with it?
Okay.
So it's bad.
Okay. So in spite of
starting the airline here,
yes,
instead of there.
In spite of the difficulties, I mean, in spite of difficulties, Johnny O'Toole has braved the waters. He has vast experience here. You can look him up. He has trained over 250 pilots here in the United States. One of them actually, has a segment at WGAC. He called in today and verified that he's a pilot at United Airlines. And we also had another gentleman. So look, kudos to you for what you've done so
thank
far.
you. Thank you.
And we are hoping that on the 20th of March, Ghanaians can embark. And anybody that's going to Ghana. Recently, we had a lot of celebrities from the U.S. Boris Kujo took a lot of friends. They all went to Ghana.
Diggy.
Diggy Simmons?
Diggy Simmons.
Okay, Diggy Simmons. And, of course, Chris Brown has been to Ghana already. And I think Floyd Mayweather also went.
Yes.
Look, Ghana is a place to be.
Yeah, but Ghana has a long history with African Americans.
Of course, of course, yeah, we'll come to that. So,
yes.
So that is why this, and then that's probably why you want to make Ghana a hub, because I know you said, so in the future,
yes,
the UK, London is in the works.
Yes,
Canada and all that. But we got to get this one going.
Yes.
The Ghana flight has to come on.
We got to grow the seed first.
Last year, you attempted to fly.
Yes, we did. We attempted last year, 2015. We attempted to fly. It was the same scenario. Oh, you're not registered or certified by the Ghana Civil Aviation, and you knew we can't certify. I'm in the U.S. and they actually mentioned this U.S. base.
Okay, so is it the issue with Ghana Aviation why you couldn't fly then, or was it because people did not know about Global Ghana Airlines and did not patronize that?
No, the issue from the Civil Aviation came, it actually went to the Ghana. For some reason, the Ghana community believes what the Ghana Civil Aviation says.
Okay.
And why? Because it's another well-kept secret.
Okay.
Among the few.
Okay.
United States is not like that.
Okay.
It's an open book. In the United States, you cannot bring cash or be quote wealthy and buy an airline. Not here in the United States.
Okay.
Anywhere else in the world, you can have money, not even have an experience, and buy an airline and have the crew to work for you. Not in the United States. I'm only in this or was accepted into this group because of my experience. Else, I would be kicked out.
Now, do some of the other, the traditional airlines, Delta and all those United and all, do they own these planes or they lease them?
Some do. And in our today's world in aviation, it's not a good idea to buy
to own a plane.
To own an airplane.
You have to lease it.
Lease it.
Okay.
Because airplanes the manufacturers used to take about 5 years to make their whole airplane. Today, 2 years. It's like hot dogs. Another on the shelf.
Okay.
So why buy it and wind up with a whole maintenance cost?
All right.
That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
You can buy the airplane, but it would take quite a bit.
The maintenance
to maintain that aircraft. And our regulation, which is the FAR, which is Federal Aviation Regulation, and TSB, is updated every year.
Okay. So you would say the major challenge last year or the previous time was because of the counter aviation report that came from Ghana.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that you are not flying the plane from Ghana to the US.
Not to the US.
The plane is a US plane.
Yes.
The crew are international US citizens, international crew.
And the certificate over exceeds.
Yes, and the US has category 1, which
category 1, yes.
Which means that supersedes the one in Ghana.
Has, yeah.
Okay. And which is why I'm sure there are other planes that go to Ghana.
Yes.
Okay, from other.
Now, so here's what we've done, and I'm going to disclose it. Because Ghana is category 2, the airlines that fly into Ghana are required to have what is known as flight engineer in countries that are not in the U.S. In the U.S., we call it flight mechanic.
Okay.
And what a flight mechanic does is that when the airplane is on the ground, there are certain checks that needs to be done while the airplane is on the ground. And this will be done, quote, the flight engineer.
Okay.
But what I understand as a flight engineer goes to 3 placed airplanes where you have the captain, you have the co-pilot, and the flight engineer. The flight engineer works the 3rd panel. The airplanes of today do not have the 3rd panel. So the flight engineer is only a maintenance crew on board. But here's the bad news. That flight engineer or the flight mechanics makes an average of $100,000 a year. And who's paying it? The passengers or customers are paying.
Okay.
That's why your ticket prices are so high. If you look at your ticket price to Ghana versus ticket price going to London, big change, big difference in the numbers. And if Ghana doesn't get its priorities in place or in order to have a maintenance facility that will take care of that maintenance situation, Ghanaians or anybody going to Ghana will be paying a bunch.
Quickly, before I go to David, how long have you been flying as a pilot?
Oh, well, I train most of my students.
No, but personally, how long have you flown as a pilot?
I'll say about good 15 years,
15 years
behind the stick, yes.
All right. Which airline, which plane is the biggest, you say?
That's where the flight engineer experience comes in. That's for 3-place airplanes. With the flight engineer 727.
727?
Yes.
Is that a Boeing or?
It's Boeing 727.
Hey, please. Not all of us.
Flight engineer.
Boeing
727, yes.
Okay.
727.
What was your most, the flight that you were most scared? I don't know how to phrase it. Your most adventurous flight ever?
That was my first flight.
No,
my first was a student pilot.
Okay, that was one. Okay, all right, David. David, let's come to the question I asked you earlier. What advice would you give to young people who want to purchase a home for the first time, with a bank loan, of course?
Somebody who's purchasing a home for the first time, first of all, figure out where you want to live. Figure out what your plan is. How are you going to start saving for a down payment? Do you know anything about maintenance? Look at the house. Is it in good shape? We get a lot of people who want to put as little down as possible. And often that's a mistake, because if you have a roof that starts leaking, how are you going to pay to fix the roof? So you really want to get a good credit score, start saving a down payment, work your way up to a house. Don't start off saying, I'm going to buy my dream palace.
So you would always advise for huge down payment, right? That people would say, okay, I have a deal, someone's going to help me, I don't have to put no money down, versus some significant money down. I mean, you would advocate for putting more money down than not putting anything down.
I would advocate for a bigger down payment whenever
bigger
you
down
can.
payment.
First of all, you're going to pay less overall, because banks lend based on risk.
Okay.
Banking is essentially an exercise in risk management. So the more risk someone presents, the more the banks have to charge to compensate for that risk factor. And home lending is often some of the cheapest money you can borrow, because people will go to great lengths to avoid being thrown out of their house. But that doesn't mean you can't make it cheaper still by reducing the risk. People talk about credit scores, and what does it really mean? And a credit score is an assessment of how good you are at managing your money. So that if you pay your bills on time, if you have maturity of credit, you use different sources, you treat it properly, you don't overextend yourself, that shows up in your credit score. And it really is a good shortcut in assessing how much of a risk somebody is. A down payment is also a good way of assessing somebody's risk, for the reasons I mentioned. If something goes wrong, what are the options at that point? Can you get a home equity loan? Do you have savings that you can use to make repairs in the home? All of those things then become a factor in how much of a risk you are, and whether or not you're going to get the financing you want and at a good price.
This has been a very good conversation. We only have about 10 minutes to wrap up, actually 8 minutes approximately to wrap up the conversation for tonight. You have been listening to the Progressive Mind Show with Alinko, of course, and we have been discussing, this segment is the Business Promotion Forum, and we have earlier, we had earlier the gentleman from BBB, Better Business Bureau, in the person of Thomas Johnson, who is the Vice President for BBB. I would say he's a Director of Public and Board Relations for BBB, also the Vice President there. And we have David Laundrie, who is Laundy, who is the CEO of Devon Bank, located here in Chicago. And of course, the brother from Ghana, Johnny Otu, who is the Director and CEO of Global Ghana Airlines, the first I would say the first airline to fly non-stop from Chicago to Accra. As a startup airline company, uh, first of all, how many are you in this industry? Would you say you're the first Black African doing the business?
Oh, there have been African Americans before me.
Okay.
What do you call it? Bill Norwood was the first African American captain for United Airlines. In fact, his airplane sits at Museum of Science and Industry.
What? Where?
The airplane sits at Museum of Science and
Oh,
Industry.
Museum of Science. Okay.
That's,
okay.
He's also the president who founded the OPA, which is Organization of Black Airline Pilots.
Okay.
And that's where Michael Askew benefited
Mm.
through the minority program to increase the number of African descent in the industry.
Mm.
I only came in to help in exposing people of African descent into the field of aviation.
Right.
But I went a little further, but not focusing on only in flying aircraft mechanic or air traffic controller, because most cases when people think of aviation, those are the three areas they look.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's more to aviation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned earlier, aerospace.
Okay.
Aviation created or gave birth to aerospace.
Okay.
And if one doesn't understand or believe in aerospace, well, look at your GPS.
Okay.
It's a satellite sitting in space.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't get there by itself. But the difference between aviation and aerospace is that aerospace is a vertical flight, and aviation is horizontal flight.
Okay.
Those are the difference. So I encourage every young person today looking for a career should consider aerospace as a career.
All right. But I'm also interested in knowing your the challenges you face, and if you were the first African setting up a non-startup airline company, airline company that's flying non-stop to Accra.
If it's from Chicago to Ghana, I'm the first.
You're the first.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not been done.
All right. And what were the challenges being the first? Did you have oppositions from the powers in the game or anything of the sort?
Well, Anna, since it was unfamiliar route, the suggestions were made how to do my homework, do calculation, and force people to believe that it is doable. In fact, when the process began, Ghanaians were actually were criticizing me for coming with such an idea of a non-stop flight from Chicago to Accra. Some says it was silly. Some say it will never happen. But those are the things that encourage me to forge forward. And 6 years is finally coming to a view. 6 years.
Wow.
The key word, though, the word that I use in which my business community use it is tenacity. I believe it's going to happen. I'm going to keep doing it until it happens. When it happens, I'm going to find what's wrong, make the corrections, and move the mindset to something else. Growth.
All right. So
What is the Henry Ford quote? Most people miss opportunity because when it knocks on the door,
that's right.
It shows up wearing coveralls, looking like work.
all right.
Yes.
Oh no, this has been awesome. But I want to people have to know where they can get tickets. So let's talk more about that, where they can get a ticket. But the number is 773-942-7167. If you're listening and you want to, and again, he's offering free tickets to Ghana from Chicago. Okay, non-stop flight from here to Chicago on his flight on the 20th of March. Free ticket, but you pay taxes. Okay, for the first call out that comes through, you're gonna get this free ticket. But again, let's go to how people. If somebody wants, okay, I want to buy a ticket now.
Okay. So if they want to buy a ticket, they could go online and Google Jocelyn Travel Agency.
Jocelyn Travel Agency.
And then World Express Travel Agency. And here's why I brought in travel agencies. I think some people go online trying to buy purchase ticket online through the booking system, and they get confused or frustrated. Because the day of departure from Chicago on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, if you accidentally mix those 2 days, the system will reject it. It has to be those days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from Chicago, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday from Accra. So for instance, if you go from Monday departure from Chicago and Wednesday departure from Accra, it won't work.
Okay.
Because the same operating days from Chicago and not from Ghana. But if you go Monday from Chicago and Thursday from Accra, you've done it.
We have a caller on the line. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Chicago.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I would like to know the difference between aero aviation and aerospace. And Mr. Otto said that he had about 3 pilot schools in Middle East. So I would like to note them down, and can you go to the school after high school, or you have to finish college before you go to aviation or aerospace school?
All right, please hang on. He's going to try to answer your questions, okay?
Okay. Well, thank you very much, caller. So when I was in flight school, there were very few options. In other words, you went to flight school to just be a pilot, or just to be air traffic controller, or just to be an aircraft mechanic. Today, academics have been added to it. So to go to flight school is now called flight management, where you get your pilot certificate and business academic support. So is aircraft mechanic. It used to be just aircraft mechanic. It's now aircraft maintenance program. So that gives you the academic support. Here's why. Some years ago, most airlines will require that you have...
Quickly, because our time is almost up.
I'm sorry. An undergrad. And people were coming in with undergrad in forestry.
Okay.
Well, airplanes, forestry just don't work.
Okay.
So the Federal Aviation pushed aviation education for most schools to have management programs.
Right.
So yes, you're a pilot, but you have the ability to do management at the same time, which most of our aircraft today are self-managed. You are just a supervisor.
He mentioned, so I think he got confused. He said you have three airplanes in 3 countries or something of the sort. I think he probably misunderstood you.
Yes, my flight school is in Lansing Airport, but it's in the state of Illinois, in Cook County. And that's whether or not you have to finish high school or college, with exception. The rules and regulation that's not mentioned neither.
Okay.
But it just so happened that today, our high-tech society, all the aircraft are upgraded. So it will benefit you if you were to go to college and take the flight training with it.
How long?
Schools.
What's the duration for the flight school?
4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
To become a pilot.
Academic and pilot certification.
And once you are through that, you can fly any airplane.
And that's where the difference comes in.
Okay.
It's what we call rating.
Okay.
Let's say any
what's our time?
Yes, the rating is when you fly an airplane that weighs more than 12,500 pounds. Okay. You have to be rated. Anything less than 12,500 pounds, you don't have to be rated. Okay. So that's the criteria.
Your experience would tell?
The experience would tell. So you can either decide to fly for corporate America or fly at an airline, or I think the best thing to do is to be an instructor and get experience and then go to the airline.
Wow. Caller, we unfortunately lost the line. If you're listening, please call us back and give us your name and your number, because you have won the free tickets, non-stop flight from Chicago to Ghana on the 20th of March. If you're ready to fly on that day. If not, of course, you can, give it to somebody who is, is yours. So you can give it to somebody who is ready to use it. It's 773. You can call back so I can have your information, please. 773-942-7167. After the show, and you want to reach us, it would be reach me for more information. It will be info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. Looks like he's calling back. We want to try and get him back on the line. Caller, please go ahead. Looks like we lost the line. Okay. Please give me your name and your number, since you won the ticket, the first ticket to Ghana on the 20th from non-stop from Chicago. Please go ahead. B as in boy, Oaitey, Boite. $3055. So I have K Boite. Is that correct? Brilliant. Thank you so much. And did he answer your question fully, if I may ask? Yes. Yes. The school's at Lansing Airport. Yes.
That you enter college and you do the admission with all you have to finish the college.
You do both. You have to do the academics and the flight portion. And here's why. Because of undetermined weather in the Midwest, it's better to do the flight along with academics. So when the weather were to go bad and you have to be on the ground for 90 days without flying, that's not good. So
Okay.
you get the hours while the weather cooperates. But as training progresses, you know how to navigate between the weathers. But for a beginner, no. So you have to stick to the weather that you're comfortable with, and the instructor ought to consider that and sign you off. Other than that, you're going to be on the ground.
Okay, is it better to buy a simulator?
Absolutely no simulator, please. No simulator, because this was simulator does. Simulators are used to correct situations that not for you to fly. The rule is when you're in the aircraft, you ought to spend 70% of that time looking outside, and the 30% is to monitor the systems in the airplane. So yes, no simulators at all.
Caller, yes, we would. Your number is here, and it's still the number is 773-406-3055. Is that correct? Okay, so he's going to reach out to you, of course, to give you the ticket details and all that, and then you can ask him further questions as well. Okay. You're so much welcome, and you got to spread the word that we have an airline that is flying from Ghana to flying from Chicago to Ghana nonstop. Okay, okay. He's saying that he can help you with promotions.
Oh, sounds good to me.
All right, caller. Thank you so much, and God bless. You're welcome. Okay, our time has been far spent, and if somebody wants to, how can they reach you? If somebody wants to know more and ask questions.
Oh, you have my number, right?
Okay, no, if you can say it well.
773.
Okay.
707-2245.
Okay.
That's direct.
Okay. The number again is
773-707-2245.
Is it email or something?
My email is O'Toole, OTOOLE at fly, FLYGGA, golfalpha.com.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We have come to the end of our discussion this evening. I'll let you all give us your last words. I'll start from you, David.
My last words are pay attention to your finances. The statistics are that something like only 13% of people actually reconcile their accounts. That means 87% of the people only have a rough guess as to how much money they have at any point in time. That's why people start bouncing checks, spending money they don't have. That's what ruins your credit score. That's what makes it hard to buy a house, to get student loans, to build businesses. Pay attention to these things. Ask for help. Get some financial education. That's how you start your growth path.
Thank you so much, David, for that advice. Please.
It's never a good idea for airlines to fly airplanes empty, either for personal or business reasons. You have to have souls on board. And is that exchange of funds keeps the airline in the air.
Right.
Because you can't compensate fuel, it must be purchased. You have to have the professionals that flies the airplane also must be compensated. Right. So buy your tickets and let's go.
Look, the message is simple. Buy your tickets and let's go. Before we end, we leave here finally. Babuba Kamara has a few comments. He just joined us. He says, they want us to advance, but we have to follow thousands of rules that are made only for us. We become independent, and they say we need to grow. 15 years later, something else, something else, and again, something else. Okay, Kamara, thanks for your comment. And Kamara is asking, what is the price range? Quickly.
It's the average is 1,500 round trip.
And then
that includes taxes.
Okay, so the average flight from
Chicago here to Accra is 1,500
for your
average for me
for Global Ghana Airlines.
Ghana Airlines, yes.
Okay,
that
so
includes taxes.
So the 20th, if you want to fly, it will be 1,500.
Yes.
Okay.
That includes taxes.
That includes taxes. Yes. Okay. But of course, you want to. I mean, the first caller got a discount, and so. But
he's the second guy, so he gets 50%.
Okay, he's a second caller. You're right. If you have any other questions, he's given out his number.
Oh, was it on Facebook? He has been a real caller, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Did he call? No.
He called. That was the first caller.
No. Beside the first, was there another?
Well, let me finish with this, and then we'll come to that. Okay, Jemima Kubi, you just joined us. Jemima, we have the first flight to Ghana from Chicago nonstop. So if you want to check it out. You know how to get me. No wahala. Okay, Rebecca Mode says, good job. Johnny Owo says, great show as always. Guys, for all of you who join us on Facebook, God bless you. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Remember that you can always go on WGS's website to help us maintain our equipment and do what we're doing. We are a community-based radio station, and we thrive on your donations. WGHCFM.org is where you got to go. It's a tax season, so remember that. Because we are 501c also, if you donate to us, you can always file your taxes with it. To whom much is given, much is required is our motto here. And I believe that we are all called to live for something greater than ourselves. Next week, Tuesday, all these politicians running for office, the mayors, the aldermen, they're coming here on the Progressive Mind Show, and they're coming to WGAC. Gentlemen, Johnny O'Toole from Global Ghana Airlines and the owner of ISO Aeronautics Training Institute, the pilot school in Lansing, David Laundy from Devon Bank. Gentlemen, thank you so much. God bless you. God bless your organizations. I wish you the best and hope that we come here and do this again.
Sound like a winner. Appreciate it. Yeah.
You're welcome. Listeners, it's been a wonderful time. God bless you all, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Sir. Yeah. Thanks, sir.
A pleasure.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah. So I like to connect with David. Michael Askew again.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
You hear the skills.